Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, and today I'll be making a tutorial. I'll show you all how to start up some of the most popular planes in X-Plane 11. First on our list is Cessna 172. It has a pretty simple startup procedure. First we've got to hide the yokes, and then we've got to set mixture to rich. Alright, and then we are just gonna increase up the throttle a bit. Alright, then we turn off the avionics, turn on the alternator and the batteries master switch. Then we turn on our fuel pump. We turn on all the lights that are required, like beacon, taxis, navigation, strobe lights. After this step is completed, we make sure that the emergency fuel shutoff is not enabled. Fuel selectors to both. Rudder test. Alright, we need hydraulics. No, wait, Cessna is fly-by-wire, so. Alright, so we test the yokes and everything. Center it nicely. Stop the yokes and set the magnetos to right, left, both, and start up by pushing it to start. And also, if it doesn't start, we have to make the mixture a little bit more rich by pushing the mixture valve in, and then you see it starts up right away. This is wonderful. Now on to our next plane, which is the Cirrus Jet SF50 Mobile. The Cirrus Jet is not a tough plane to start at all. It's pretty simple. We just look under our screen and we hover over each button, and then we see what button we are pressing. Alright, and then we turn on buttons, first 4 buttons around this spot. Alright, and we've got power. Check our fuel selector and the throttle. Let's just increase up the throttle a tad bit. There, that'll do it. Now we have just got to check to make sure that the oh boy. Now we've just got to check to make sure that the stick is moving nicely. Good. Stop it. Come on. Right. So now that everything's done, it's simple. You just set this knob to run. Run. That's it. Engine is starting up. Hey, it's too dark to see anything. Let's go back to the cockpit. And then we just wait. Alright. Probably you can hear the sound. And that tells us that this red engine is ready to be used. Next on our list is a commercial airliner, the Boeing 737. Starting up the 737 is a little bit more complex. Most of the job is done in the overhead panel. And let me access it. Now we're on the overhead panel, and if ground power is available, like in our scenario, you will just have to set this button to on. Most of the time ground power is available, so we just set it to on. And we turn on the fuel pumps that our APU requires. We have all the power now for our PFD and everything. Let's go back up. Now let us start our APU. And you can see the AGT indicator is rising. Let's wait for it to rise. So when the EGT indicator stops moving, we hit the bus transfer to the APU. This off, turn the ground power off. Then let's just start up the APU by pushing this switches down. And do we have power? Oh yes. This power is provided by our APU, whose full form is Auxiliary Power Unit. After this, after the APU has been turned on, we turn on the fuel valves for the other engines, set the crossfeed to equalize the fuel in all the three tanks, and we enable APU bleeder, which sends out a channeled section of the APU's exhaust to the engines for the jump start. The air spins the turbine, just like how a motor in a petrol or diesel car spins up the engine in the beginning. And we set the engine's start knob to GRD, ground. Ground. Now let's get out and look around to check if our engines are revving up. You can see that the engines are spinning slowly. Now we go back inside, turn on the master caution. After that, we can see our engines revving up percentage on the engine's N2 display. And as soon as it reaches 27, it's gonna stop almost. And that is when we raise the fuel mixtures to idle. As soon as this is done, it supplies the engine with enough fuel to start up. And as soon as our engines have exceeded about 60, their power on N2 is exceeded by about 60. We can turn off the APU and set the engine's power to on so that we turn off these blue lights. APU to off. You can see the APU's indicator or gauge revving down. Turn on the lights that's required. No need of landing lights. Taxi. Logo. And any other lights. Now on to our next plane. The Boeing 747. A 747 is pretty similar to a Boeing 737, like what we discovered earlier. First, we've gotta enable the power by pressing the external power and standby power to auto. And we turn on all the utility power switches. We don't need the battery. All right, turn on all the switches. On. That's it. So now we've got to turn on or power up the APU. That we do by setting the APU selection knob to start. And yeah, before that, now we have the overhead panel view, and here we increase the dome light, or we can turn it up. As soon as the APU power is available, we can turn it on and turn off the external power. Battery still remains off. Then we turn on the crossfeed valves. 12 crossfeed valve, right crossfeed valves, and then we open up the covers and then push these crossfeed valves that all of them have so that all of them have the light, right? And we make sure that the window heat is disabled. We check our landing gear handle, which is in down position. We go back up to our view in here, and we also turn on these fuel pumps, all of them, to on, all to on. Good. And next, we turn on the center wing pumps. Good. Now we've got to turn on the bleeder. Left isolation, right isolation, we power it up, and then we start up the APU bleeder and all the engines bleeder. As soon as this is done, in some older Boeing 747s, we've gone. You gotta set ignition to continuous if the engine doesn't turn on. But currently, let's just run with the normal procedure: 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we go back to our normal view. We'll look at the N2 rating on this central console. After which, when it stops rising, we set the mixture to run, all of them. Now let's just go out and have a look and make sure that all the engines are spinning up. Let's zoom in. Good. They're rotating nicely. Nice way of exclaiming it. Let's go back to our cockpit view. And here is when we got the authority to turn off the APU. With no external powers, we turn off the APU. As soon as APU is turned off, the screen starts flashing as it's shifting the power from the engines to the APU. And the screen becomes steady, which means we are good to go. Thank you for watching.